some boom, baby, boom, rise and shine. It's your morning marijuana motivation time. I'm your host with the mostest, Marky Saint. Every morning I get up, blessed to be alive, and we're blessed to have lives, because I'm telling you, what in the world is going on with this world, bro? I'm like, what the fuck am I waking up to? Dude's getting shot at Utah at colleges just because he's disagreeing with people. The other dude's throwing out some what was it that they were just doing just now? Drones to Poland? Are you serious right now? I'm in Finland. It's a little too close. If they try pulling that shit over here, I promise you these people are ready. They don't want that smoke. The whole world is on smoke. It's on fire. And literally, I'm out here in the wind trying to survive and enjoy my life. And, you know, it's not always so easy when the world is on fire, is it? Saints Addiction, we out here. Now, I didn't know my show was going to get this political. Let me clear up this camera. You know, we talk about it every morning. You know, like this guy, how a black guy can stab a poor Ukrainian girl after she survived the Ukraine, comes all the way to America. I don't even know what state it's in. Starts stabbing people on the bus and walking around with the weapon. Literally just mentioned it. And then they go and show me the news like, hey, is it a white guy? If it's not a white conservative guy, it's not pushing our agenda, so it doesn't lead. Even though this guy's got a rap sheet 16 deep and shouldn't be out on the streets, he finally kills somebody that was innocent, minding her own fucking business, and he goes and stabs her in the neck. Now this guy gets shot in the neck, and then another guy, what they were just telling me, brought an axe on the subway and started swinging it on people about 10 years ago. I'm like, what is this world coming to, bro? What in the world is happening right now? And that was just the trigger. You know, I watch it maybe too often. You know, maybe it's going to be Poland, where they're throwing about 25 drones over their airspace and protective zone, and we're not even protected anymore. This shit's fucking crazy. Your boy Marky saying, I'm just trying to edit videos, and I'm almost got them all done. I'm actually quite stoked. I added a bunch of other videos, but pretty much all my credits, video in a sec, they're all finally fucking edited. All these traveling's awesome things. I can't find the Machu Picchu video, but like going to around the world, and I've got the Hagia Sophia in Turkey, and I got swimming in the waters of Thailand, and I got I'm gonna put a little more videos for Brazil. But all that being said, what does it even matter if our lives aren't free to live? You know, what in the world are you thinking? What in the world is this world coming to? Is something that they used to say. Bro. You know what they got you, bro. Yeah, hard workers. You know, what in the world is coming? What is our world coming to? Where we don't see how it is peace that brings prosperity, where we have peace of mind and I can stay calm and then my life goes on, versus it's completely hectic, helter-skelter, and now all of a sudden I worry about the smallest things, like what country I'm living in, and then I'm about to go to Vietnam, which could be a flashpoint also threatened by China. I keep trying to hang out near Russia and China, waiting for the other shoe to drop, as if we didn't expect them to pull some shit. And that's what we used to call it back in the day when I was growing up. It was called pulling shit. You know, if you start pulling shit, you know, don't start none, won't be none. And it seems like they're missing the obvious. Like, that's the obvious of our whole lives, is that we have to not only exercise and have freedoms and space and liberties. That's why Saints Addiction is so important to me. You know, it's supposed to be my ultimate freedom away from what do you call it? Financial independence and the freedom to travel wherever I want to go. We were talking about visas, me and my friend, where he said he can't get his wife and kid away from Mombasa, which is in Kenya, in Africa. There's no just going up to it. You get your stamp, boom, bap, and you can just go to the country. Now he has to hire an attorney and fill out all this paperwork, and it's not just the snap of a finger like me, because I have an American passport, that could just roll up to Vietnam and be like, yo, bitch, give me some, and they let me come into their country. I'm lucky enough that Finland let me stay this long, and I'm on overstay, you know? It's expensive to leave, and I love this place, you know, just all these trees and the wind in the trees, and I'm about to smoke one for the nation, But man alive, bro, do I gotta keep my heart rate down? I've been just absorbing every fucking video I can about strategies from flashpoints like Poland or Vietnam or Taiwan. I shouldn't watch any of this stuff, but I feel like I gotta keep my knowledge on it. Like, what is our world gonna come to when we don't wake up in the morning to go for our mental stability? We go for our sheer survival, and that'll make everyone just halt, you know, not only just the shipping and things that we want to come into our lives, but also the pattern of our lives, right? Like my pattern is I gotta get up, walk to the fucking park, enjoy myself, watch the trees, hopefully breathe, smoke one for the nation, go park and spark, and then I chill the fuck out and then keep editing my videos and eat something for breakfast. That's my pattern, you know? Can you imagine? Good morning. Can you imagine where it doesn't happen that way? All of a sudden you're in feisty situations where you're worried about getting gasoline, or can you get medicine for your baby, or things that impact you tremendously. And look, this chick, she's getting it in. Fuck yeah, I love it when the chicks do the work. Only in Finland, you know what I mean? Look at, you know, if I be facetious and tell her that she missed the spot, you think it'll be funny? Probably not, you know? Probably not. I gotta do it anyway. Holy shit. Right? Nicely done. Hey, my house is over here. No, just try to be funny, but you know, trying to make people smile and trying to show some shine in this life that is starting to get really quickly dark. And I'm trying to build a business with my friends around the world within a sec and do an AI business that's super successful. And if that doesn't happen, what does happen? What does take place? Do we not do anything for our intellectual or educational purposes for the future? Are we to just start bunkering down and start looking at strategies and building UAVs or drones by hand like the Ukrainians? I'm sure they were going to college or starting relationships or growing a business, and all that comes to a stop because a couple people are like, you're too close to us, back the fuck up. We want our lands back. As if Russia's not the fucking biggest country already. By sheer size, why do they need the Ukraine? You know, why do they need Poland? Why do they need Belgrade? Why do they need that Leningrad? You know, there's too much of us jockeying for positions. Why do you need Taiwan? Okay, so it's so close and you want access to the Pacific Ocean. I can understand that, but I also don't understand why you didn't get back Tibet. You know what I mean? And I don't understand why you would want to start another world war that you already lost and can quickly lose again. Like all of the NATO's powers, Russia don't want that smoke. And all the Western alliances, or I should say the Pacific alliances, gathered together, China don't want that smoke. And yet nothing's worse than having something of create tremendous problems unify a lot of people. And you won't see more than that, you know, China saying, you know, hey, I grateful that Japan had started their own, what they consider, oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, still smells like dog shit because I'm near the dog park, but nice. All right. Not all the way bad, but you know, the colonization of Japan being a colonizer of South Korea and into China, now all of a sudden they unified all of China to be under one banner. God forbid you starting World War III, you don't want to see what Europe and America are capable of. You know, Australia, Japan, and South Korea are capable of. You don't want to see me and my friends roll up on that ass and show you that this world deserves better. It deserves peace. It deserves freedom. And it does deserve democracy. And now it's not like I see all the time, I got a war shirt where the war's just dropping down and they're just dropping bombs, you know, down on everything. But democracy is where it's at. Oh, man. This is one of my favorite spots, y'all. Look how beautiful this is. Morning motivation. You know, and I'm just sick of it all. You know, I was here yesterday, so let's get some of that sunshine on the skin, that vitamin D, start stretching. But it's bugging me, bro. It's bugging me at night. It's what I'm listening to. I said it the other day. I said, what in the world is this morning's? And then I said, watch out, y'all. World, hold on. You know, like, we should be watching these things. I said, wake the fuck up. That was what the morning motivation was. It's like, we got to wake the fuck up and see what's really going the fuck on. Because it doesn't matter what you thought you had planned. It's almost like the police. I don't give a fuck what you were going to do that today. Now you're arrested. So you thought you were going to work, you're going to lose your job. You thought this was your car, it's getting towed. And whatever you had planned for the next 2-3 months, you're sitting in a jail cell, just like I was watching myself from Thailand. Woo! Glad that fell. Look at that. This one fell here, but I'm glad it didn't fall too bad, y'all. Let's get on this side. The wind is getting. I don't want it to fall inside the water. You know, look at my hair. It looks like I got a comb over it. Oh my God. Glad I don't have a wig, but geez, oh. Life happens fast, y'all. And whether we're prepared for it or not, it's gonna fucking come at us so fast. And everybody's gonna be like, wow, that didn't last. And I'll be like, no shit, Sherlock. I do not want my water to fall in the river. I do not want my phone to fall in the river. Let's repeat after me. So I guess I'm just gonna have to hold this thing while I'm stretching per usual. So next big wind. I got the first warning. Maybe I don't deserve the second, but I'm just trying to stretch out the demons, have my morning motivation, and stay away from any other bullshit that's happening in the world. It is happening. Whether we're ready for it or not, I think World War III will happen. I don't think you build machines this big, deadly machines and missiles, not to use them. You don't parade down the streets showing the world your solidarity with the evil axis and not prepared for the worst. And Poland was prepared. I don't think they were really prepared to see those drones go so far into their own land as it did. Like, that's one of the things, you know? Man, my hair's just acting all sorts of bad. What are we gonna do, world? How do we stop these things? I'm just another small person. People want to ask me about Trump all the time. I'm just what, at 350 million? And what I say doesn't go. It's a lot of other people in power positions that are going to decide this and what they're going to do to react to it. There's going to be repercussions. You can't just keep teasing and poking the bear and playing the tiger by the tail. You grab a tiger by the tail, you got to be expecting the other claw to come swipe your fucking face. And I think that's what's taking place. I think that there's going to be some poking. They're poking at Poland right now. And I think we're going to have to grab that tiger by the tail, or at least the dragon, and teach it a lesson. And it's going to be a lesson in freedom. It's not that we want to invade or ballistic missiles or attack, but we got to be prepared to protect our freedom. Just the ability to come on this bridge, chill the fuck out, and do my workouts is a freedom. And I think we've been resting on our laurels, expecting that gas was going to show up. I know Europe was expecting Russia never to cut off the line, and they did. Makes it a cold winter. You know what else makes the winter cold? Nuclear fallout. And all these motherfuckers are saber rattling. You know, they all have weapons of mass destruction. They all have, oh, this is a cool little dragonfly coming up here. They all have situations. Yep, see, it took off, but they all have these situations happening, and I just don't want it to happen, man. I want us to just keep going on in peace and let people grow and prosper and make their own income and their own economies instead of killing whole countries. People that are bombing civilians, bro. Children. People that have nothing to do with this. And this is what we do with this beautiful world, this bright, beautiful world that's just blowing these trees. Look at this. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So beautiful. And they want to fuck with this? You don't want none, son. You don't want none. Make a better decision. Because we fight with our hands, not our guns. And they don't want none. Because we got a gun behind every blade of grass. Ask your own China. Ask Japan when they were like, can we invade America? We don't want this smoke, bro. But we You don't want to catch these hands. So cool. And that's what it is, you guys. So as I'm watching the trees change and the leaves fall and it's time for me to go on, you know, I'm worried about getting closer to China, and I feel a lot safer in Thailand, a peaceful nation, the land of smiles, you know, the ones that believe in Buddhism instead of communism. You know, we don't shoot people in the streets, you know what I mean? Shit's crazy. And all these things, it just gets worse, bro. We're making the situation worse than better, and it's like a bad relationship that we can't quit, you know? I think China is toxic. China, you're toxic. Your air is toxic. Your politics are toxic. We don't want countries that are already not diplomacies but dictatorships ruling this world. And it's going to come down to ideological beliefs. Like, what do you believe in? Do you believe that people should be in their own self-determination? Or do you believe that you're going to come in like Hong Kong, take it back, and then crack down on everybody that was there and show the world that as soon as you get control over something that was free, used to be a London outpost, and now how are you going to treat it? You're probably going to be doing some dirty shit, and that's what people are seeing, or at least that's what I think that they're seeing. And I'm sure their people might even protest. You know, I've seen them in Russian protest, and guys, 1 million men left Russia because they don't want to be in the war, and they know they're just going to be for cannon fodder, and they'll just throw these young kids to the front lines, and they deserve a life to live, to make their own families instead of ending their whole generation. All of their family stops with them. They can't have any more babies. Dead mammals don't have babies. And I was watching this, and I have to say this, but I always watch a lot of nature show to see mammal reactions. And what they were saying was this owl heard a thud while he got all the chicklets at night, and he ran out of the thing and left his 4 chicklets behind, while a weasel came in and ate a varmint, or what do you call those? I don't even know what to call that. A ferret came in and ate all of his chicklets. Now everybody's like, did mom do her job? Should she have protected her babies? Well, one of the things that they said is Mother Nature is not diplomatic. She actually is very fierce. Mother Nature is like the ultimate in, like, babies can die to feed other cheetahs so they can feed their cubs. It happens. They go for the babies. They go for the smaller mammals and the older mammals to kill them so they can have feed. That's of nature. Why didn't that mom protect her chicks? Well, because a dead mammal can't make other births. And that's just for facts. That's why we save women and children first, because those guys can procreate a new future. Those children are already born. We want to protect them just like a wildebeest, just like a hippo, just like an elephant. Protect their young, form a circle, and keep them in the middle. We are on the other side, where now they're happening, where they're just going to be like, well, we destroyed our economy, we destroyed our environment, and we don't want, when we want this island off our coast, are we willing to start World War III? Are we willing to even light up one single ballistic missile to make everybody start firing all their missiles? And I'm watching it every morning, and we got the missile count, but they got the longer RAM sky-to-air missile, where it goes like maybe another 50 kilometers more than ours, so they can fire first, you know, beyond sight range is what they call this. And the AIM 250 and all these other things that we've been working on fast tracking, and then we don't have any Navy, you know, because like we closed all our ports, so God forbid we lose anything that we have now. And they got these DF-21s that are trying to find the carrier killers and hypersonic missiles, and who's going to have the first hypersonic missile, or who's going to fire the first nuclear weapon, or who's going to fire the first shot. This is what they said. The first person that wins the shot will probably first win, but the first person that fires the first shot will look bad to the whole world order. And this is what we're talking about this morning. What in the world is coming to where they want to change up the world order? They got Iran behind them. They got North Korea behind them. All of those guys got nuclear weapons, and they're not exactly favors of the United States. So they're like, they don't like the homogeny, or no, the hegemony of Western order, and they felt like the 100 years of what do they call it themselves? They call it the 100 years of disgrace or embarrassment that they've been having to endure from all of our colonization and all of our imperialistic ways. We made them for years, centuries, to take on opium and our trade. And now they're sitting here going like the century of humiliation is over. That's what they call it, and now it's our time to shine, which I don't blame them from wanting to shine, but that means you got to go get a bigger sword, and you got to go meet the guy that's on the battlefield, which is us as the United States, with the bigger sword, and say who's got the biggest sword. Now we're doing a big old sword fight. It's a dick measuring contest, it's a peeing contest, who can pee further, just to see who's the most peaceful. It doesn't make sense. And I say this often because I'll have people ask me questions just like that old man did right here on the bridge. You're American, what's that symbol mean? And I says anarchy, eh? And he's like, what does it mean? And I said, it means freedom. And he said, where are you from? I said, America. And he said, what about Trump? And I said, what about him? And they're mad at Trump, but right about now, everybody in the fucking EU and the NATO is like, what will America do? And that's what's really going to happen. What's our stance on Poland having drones invade them, or when a Chinese vessel rams into a Filipino vessel or a Vietnamese vessel, or any of those other things, or just that Taiwan wants to keep its independence, but we don't claim them as their own sovereign nation. So it's just a lot of geopolitics that I've been studying with Sarah Payne, not Palin, like I said last time, Sarah Payne, watching her show the histories of things. This is what we've been doing through history, that Mao Zedong heavily influenced the communism and the direction of China, and a direct disciple of Mao Zedong is Xi Jinping. Actually, Mao Zedong and Xi Jinping's father were tight like this. There were Xi Jinping's father was the safe haven for the Communist National Party when they were fighting themselves with your boy. Don't tell me it's not Pol Pot. His name is Robert Paulson. No, and oh, Mark, you got high. What was his name? Fuck. Chiang Kai-shek, he went all the way to Taiwan as a safe place for these people that did want to take China in a democratic nation, and they got weakened by Japan in World War II, so then they got beat out by the communists. They were this close to being democratic. They got Hong Kong, they took it over. It's not democratic anymore. They already got Macau from Portugal, which used to be a Portuguese colony, which I've actually been. The one that Macau, the one where it's like a little Las Vegas where they can gamble, and actually I think they make more than Vegas in gambling, but either way, they take these places back, take a place like Tibet, which is ultimately peaceful and doesn't even have a way to fight back, and we're wondering what's happening. What in the world's coming to where India's colluding, holding hands with Russia, taking pictures, and we're like, wait, now it's China, Russia, and India against us? Oh man, now we got a bigger fight on our hands. They brought friends with them when we bought ourselves and our sword. Maybe we need to bring our friends like NATO in and see what's really happening. Who wants to catch these hands? And I keep saying it, but it's happening, and it's just one of these things that's just like, what in the world? What is our world coming to? Where we've given up our lives to say, hey, we want to give up our freedoms as far as like waking up in the morning and just going for our morning walks and just chilling and being outside and nobody bugging us. This chick's walking, this guy's on a bike, this chick's got her poles out. We should have the freedom to do whatever the fuck we want. And in that freedom, we gave other people freedom to be themselves and have their own democracies or their own independence or claim whatever the fuck they want to claim. Then all of a sudden we'll drop some fucking bombs at a night raid. I think they call it Midnight Hammer, and then blow up the stockpiles or the entrance or wherever they hold all their plutonium or uranium in Iran, and already say, hey, we got the capabilities of sneaking in and dropping crucial ammunitions in crucial sites, and maybe even have to take out the Three Gorge Dam. We take out the Three Gorge Dam and it kills everybody. And the guy was like, Americans don't want to do that. They love their iPhones too much. They know that at the end of that flash flood from the Three Gorge Dam being bombed, that's where they make the iPhones. Well, guess what? We've already pulled out of iPhones, and India's already pulled into their sphere. So we got to calculate who's on our side. How do we keep the 9-dash line? How do we keep these powers at bay? We thought that by joining NATO, and Finland just joined NATO, Sweden just joined NATO, Norway just joined NATO, to keep these guys at bay from coming into our countries or any other peaceful countries and starting a war that we didn't want. We're not okay with these situations. We're not okay with life going on to the dark side where nuclear holocaust will threaten everything that we hold to be true, including the wind blowing back into Russia, because once you do nuclear weapons, it's in the air, and there goes all your agriculture, all your livestock, and the future for next 50 to 100 years. We're gambling right now, and it's not nice. It's like a junkie. I was watching it, and I'll use this before I tap out, but they were talking about the movie with Adam Sandler where he's a jewelry dealer. I can't remember the name. I just got high. It was something like that, where uh, Guarded Jewels or something like that. I forget the name of the movie, but you know what I'm talking about. Where you got Kevin Garnett, and he's got this opal, and he's selling Kevin Garnett this opal for like 200 grand, and Kevin Garnett's like, let me hold on to that. Well, while he's holding on to it for a little too long, he's supposed to bring it back in 2 days. He brings it back in 2 weeks, and in that 2 weeks, Adam Sandler's character whole life falls apart. Hidden Gems, I can't remember what it is, but anyway, he's got his debt collectors beating him up and throwing him in the water. People are looking for him. He's like, look, as soon as I sell this rock, I can pay you guys all back. What ends up happening is he comes back, Kevin Garnett comes back, the door won't open. It's one of those electric magnetic doors, and he's just like, give me this rock back. As soon as he got that rock back, he started licking his lips, because he's a fucking gambler. He's a fucking addict. He's a junkie. And as soon as he had the 200 grand, you know what he wants to do with it? Not pay anybody back, not do the right thing. He wants to gamble again. And that's what I feel like China is doing right now, that they've been calculating their gambling style, but they're not calculating on people wanting freedom so bad that they're willing to fight for it. And that's what it all comes down to. When you're talking about ideologies or poli-science or political science, poli-sci, and the way that we want the world to go around, if somebody wants to come up and kick in your door and they don't want you to have your own freedom or your own safety or your own protection, then you're going to watch somebody that has a gun inside their house and start shooting back at invaders, or at least our belief in American ways to have a gun so we don't have another gun. And I'll leave it with another funny one, but the homie said he had a gun. He starts pointing it at his friend at work. He's like, hey, my last paycheck, I got a gun. He's like, Jesus Christ. He's like, could I afford enough bullets? That's the question. And then he keeps pointing at him, and he goes, yeah, I'm going to take the shot. He's pretending that he's a Secret Service. And then he was like, get naked. You know what I mean? Like, all the things that you can make someone do because you have a bigger stick, because you have a bigger gun, because you have a bigger sword, means that you can dictate what goes around. And they say walk slowly but carry a big stick. I forget who said that, but it's kind of the shtick this morning. The stick is the stick, and hopefully these guys don't want none of it, because then we'll all have to start swinging our sticks, our penises, and our nuclear weapons around at each other, saber rattling, and it'll shake the rest of the world. It'll make other people pick sides, and those sides will have to fight it off. Red team, blue team, Axis or evil Axis. It's going to happen, and it'll be a coalition. It'll be a whole NATO group going like, okay, now you want that smoke, and then it's going to be unstoppable. And that's something that you don't want to do. It's the person that had to learn about his anger and lose his own child. It's my fault for not showing that I could keep my cool, for not taking the first shot, for not being like physically violent. I would have my child right now. Life would have continued on, and instead of getting a late-term abortion and me being regretful of my anger, if I would only could just be this chill, cool guy that had smoked one like I am now, all certain of my power and in control of my destiny and in control of my own emotions. That's the strong version of me. The guy that you don't see is the one that got in an argument with his pregnant baby mama and basically scared her into a early abortion. That's hard to say, on the live and keeping it real. But that's what these guys are doing. They're attacking fishing boats, and they're sending drones, and then they're shooting people. We're shooting ourselves at Utah colleges in front of everybody. So, it's crazy. It's not cool. It's scary, and I don't normally believe in fear. I said, see you on the other side. I always say peace and love. And as always, Chigaton. That means goodbye, but not forever in Finnish. And, I'll see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. But that's the other side of your fear, the other side of your excuses, and the other side of the world. Well, there's a lot of fear on the other side of the world, and this is what this conversation is for. So if you got any other input, go ahead, comment below. I want to know, what are you thinking about what's happening in the world right now, and what in the world has this come to? Peace. And I really mean that.